So in this video, we're going to look at I'm making a series on specifically programming, specifically designing 3D Blender objects. And the thing is, this is just all about programming. So I'm using BlendSwap as my source to download these files, but they are not programmed. And I give credit to all the files that are made. I know I don't have them listed quite yet, but I will get them listed. Here's a file of a cannon that was not programmed. I programmed it, and it was already in Blender Render or Cycles Render. I put it into Blender Game and turned it into a game with some commands through sensors and actuators on how to move it if I press a certain button, or how to move it if I put my mouse over the character. In this case, it's a cannon on wheels. So I'm going to show you the composition of this cannon that's on like a track. So I'm just going to show you. So I'm going to start with a lot about combining certain parts of the game file. So this is the game file. I did add an explosion to it. It's represented by a torus. And let me show you what happens. So I click P. Alright, and it rotates. Look at how it rotates in the Y direction. I know it's not perfect, but it rotates. And if I press the letter M on my keyboard, it moves. And if I press 1, it shoots. So it's your typical cannon. Let me get it from another angle. Let me get it from another angle. So let me get it from this angle. Sorry. Let me click P. I move it. And I press 1, I shoot. So that is typically what you can do with torus movement and what you can do with a lot of these logic blocks. So another thing is, I want to show you the composition of these logic blocks, and that will be in the second part of this video. Alright, so I'm showing you the composition of this cannon. So, you see this right here? This is the plane axes that I added to it. It had to be slightly slanted, and that's, you just press R on your buttons. Press R on your keyboard rather, and you slant it slightly. And then here is the torus. This is very similar to the tank game that I showed you. It's basically the same thing. You have to put the torus here. Here's the cannon. Join it to the cannon, and well, rather, here's the plane axes. Here's the torus, and they all have to be joined in the same way that I showed you in the tank movement video. Now I'm just going to show you the command prompts for this. So here we go. Here we have is the Y direction. Let me show you what I mean by Y direction. So you see how it says use Y axis here? I don't use the X axis because structurally it's not supposed to be used for the X axis, only for the Y axis it looks like. So when I press P, it moves up. It moves up and down. You see how the next level uses the x-axis, and you see how this uses the y-axis. So this is just simple geometry. And let me just show you. I use movement feature for the sensor for this, and mouse sensor for this as well. Let me show you this portion. This portion is also mouse movement, of course, because you can just move your mouse, and it moves the way you want it to as you designed it. So this uses the x-axis, and let me show you one more time. See, if I just move, they're both going to move the y and the x-axis. I just think it's neat that way. And if I press 1, it shoots. Now, this was a little bit tricky. The base of this cannon tank thing, the base of it required programming itself. Let me get back here. Sorry. The base of it required some things. So I joined the tire tracks to the base of the cannon tank, and I had to join them all. It joined everything else, so I press M on my keyboard. That's the sensor, keyboard sensor. And then it gives me the direction. So I think it was in the Y direction at -0.40 for the actuator, and that was simple motion, the motion actuator, and here are all the different actuators we could have added. So that is generally, let me show you. I press M and it moves and shoots. So that is basically that direction. I want to go back to the torus real quick. So remember with the torus, we had the torus. I press 1. Let me show you real quick. I press 1, it shoots. So, and then the actuator was the direction of the torus, which I think was 1.30. I made it slightly different than the tank one, but it doesn't really matter. It shoots, but it's good enough. And then we join that second actuator file, the second, not actuator, but yeah, the edit object file. That file was the torus. We created a double actuator like we did in the tank video. So that is just a conclusion of this simple tank cannon thing. And let me just show you it one more time just to have an aesthetic effect. And it's just really awesome, I think. You can do this with any file that you make. I've made my own files. I've made my own designs. But I'm lazy sometimes and I just like to program things randomly for fun. I just think it's a neat way. I feel like as long as you can just program stuff and use, I mean, there's node editors, there's a whole bunch of other stuff, dope sheets. Say if you're doing biomechanics, I think it's really neat, but this is just my video. I give credit to the creator of this file and to any of the files that I use in my videos. I make my own designs here and there. It's just sometimes I'm kind of busy with school and stuff. So this is just my programming video. Thank you.